Perfect, good. So, lightning talks. I think we started last year, which was really fun. There is actually no rule, or let's say there is one rule. You have 5 minutes and max. But what you do during these 5 minutes, you can do whatever you want. So the stage is yours. The first one jumping in that lion cave is John. And I guess you can introduce yourself.
Okay, super. Okay, hi guys. So I have only 5 minutes. I really need to rush. So my name is John. I'm a front-end developer, totally in love with web standards, and quite recently, especially with SVG and especially inline SVG. So I want to start with Chartist. I will show you Chartist, my project, my open source project, which is a responsive charting library. And I want to start with 2 questions. So how many of you do know SVG as an image? Okay, almost everybody. So, and how many of you do know inline SVG in the DOM? Not quite so many. Okay, cool. So I show you inline SVG. So this is actually a SVG graphic, but it's inline. So I can inspect it in a browser. As you can see, it's in the DOM. We have DOM elements. So I can manipulate the DOM and I can erase the head of this Chartist guy here. Or I can delete the jacket. So now he looks more like a ninja guy. Or maybe also remove this one so it's a ninja with a stick more. Okay, so but this is not about this Chartist guy, it's about the chart he's pointing to. So Chartist.js is a charting library, and the name is, it's a simple responsive charting library. So it provides you with some APIs to create very simple responsive charts. So these are the chart types here you can see that are supported right now, currently. And when you see, when we scale the browser, you can see they're responsive and behaving responsively. And the cool thing about SVG in the DOM is you can actually style it, you can apply some style with CSS to these elements, and you can really have the separation of concerns also with SVG. And something else that is really cool, you can, for example, select the mustache here. And I don't know if you know it, but $0 in Chrome DevTools is always pointing to the selected element, which is pretty cool. So when I add an event listener to this mustache, I can really click the mustache with hit point testing, and it's an event listener in the DOM. So it's pretty cool to use SVG in the DOM. So these are the chart types. You can also style them, you can animate them with CSS3 animations, of course, because it's in the DOM. You can also do crazy things like this and make a 3D translation over your whole chart, that it's kind of moving and flipping around, everything with CSS. If there is no CSS, it looks really plain, black and white. Yeah, so one thing I want to show about Chartist is the responsive configuration overrides, which is the mechanism to control the behavior on different media. As you maybe saw in the talk where it was about responsive medias and devices, you saw that you can use media queries also in JavaScript. So here what we do is we configure some options, and later on we're gonna override these options with some responsive options that we can specify with a media query similar to CSS. And whenever these match, they will override the standard configuration. So like this allows you to resize your browser or provide for different media, different configuration. As you can see, the chart is actually changing how it's displayed a little bit, like weak is not weak, it's W only, for example, on mobile to save some space. So how can you use Chartist? It's in Bower, so you can install it as a Bower dependency, and it has some main files, so you can immediately use it if you want to use the CSS from Chartist directly. But it's also an NPM module, so it's available in NPM, and it's compiled as a UMD, so you can use it as a common JS module. And to illustrate this, I'm using a require bin. I don't know if you know it, it's like JS bin, but you can write browserify scripts here. So when you do a require, a require bin will check it and download it from npm directly so you can use it directly in the browser. And here I'm using Chartist as a module, initialize it, and you can see it's drawn here. Yeah, so that's for Chartist. I want to use the remaining time. I don't know how much I have.
10 seconds.
Yeah, so we also do an AngularJS workshop actually at the 9th of September, so it's pretty soon. It's at CH Open in Rapperswil, in the Hochschule Rapperswil. So if you want to join, it's for starters. So if you don't know Angular so well yet, please join our workshop. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. That was a good one. Next one, Lukas. Ready, steady, go. Oh, microphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
Your 5 minutes start now.
Okay. So I work as a front-end dev and as an animator. And often I get something to animate like this in the web. And yeah, this is a movie. But how can I animate this? I mean, I can try to do it in the DOM with CSS animations or JavaScript, jQuery. I can do it by SVG, which will be a good idea for something like this, but very time-consuming, very complicated, at least for me. I can do it in Canvas, natively Canvas. Yeah, also quite complicated. So I like to animate in After Effects, which is here. Here I have all the tools, the possibilities from After Effects. Yeah, I can draw it maybe in Illustrator, import it, and animate it here. I can use things like this value time graph, which you don't see really. So, if you see, somewhere should be a curve now. Crap. Yeah. So this is for easing. So I have a full control over the easing of an animation, and yeah, that's for the whole animation thing really cool. Now I made a script, custom script, which will export this animation into a JSON format. I save it now here as a morph JSON. And after this, I can play this in the browser. So, and this all happens in the canvas. This JSON file is about, I don't know, 60 kilobytes in size, which is a lot smaller than a GIF would be or a movie would be. I mean, a movie, I can't use a movie on a mobile. So this is, yeah, this is Canvas. It is responsive, and it runs pretty fast. So yeah, what are the use cases for this? At the moment, it just uses the vector part of After Effects, the shape layers in After Effects, but it's good for characters. I can rig characters in After Effects quite easily. So to animate an arm or something like this. I have an example here. This would be quite complicated to do in code. I can draw irregular shapes, more than just triangles or squares. I can, yeah, draw every shape I want. I have these graphs I showed you. I can use motion path, so that an object follows a path. The whole lib for playing it in the canvas is, at the moment, it is pretty alpha state. It's about 18 kilobyte minified. It uses canvas and request animation frame for performance. So yeah, it runs quite fast and with good performance. Yeah, it's good for animators, for people who don't know much about code. So yeah, I can show you how I implement it. So this is the canvas element, and I just have to load. Wrong script. Here it is. I just have to load this JSON, character JSON, get the canvas, instantiate the new runtime, set some flags, loop or HD, put the whole thing in a request animation frame loop, yeah, and start it. And that's all you have to do. All the other stuff goes into After Effects. So yeah, for people which don't like or don't do much code, but more on the animation side, this can be a solution, I think. So some more examples for irregular shapes.
5 seconds.
Okay. Irregular shapes or some typographic stuff. I don't know, some more complicated stuff or buttons, styles, I don't know. Yeah, I'm finished. Thanks. Oh, yeah, sorry. No, I just have an...
Tweet it with hashtag FAC14 and then we know.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a Twitter handle. It's called @AE2Canvas. And 2, like the number 2. So, I forgot.
Put it on the hashtag, that's easy.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, next one, Pat.
Okay, so
Wait.
yeah.
Perfect.
So that's better, I guess. Okay, so I'll just tweet right away the slides and the GitHub repo, so you can visit it. The one is on GitHub, as said, and the other one is here on Google Docs. And if everything works well, it starts. Hopefully now. Right. Okay. I'm Pat from IVF Web Solutions. I'm an app UX engineer, and I'm going to tell you something about console log. Yeah, probably you know console log. I hope you do. Who doesn't know console log? So if you don't, press F12 when you're in your browser, and then some pop-up will go from down below where you can type in JavaScript comments. So one thing you can do with the console is logging. You can log objects quite nicely in a way that you can even make them open and investigate more into them. Or you can also use console log in a kind of printf style, for those who know a little bit of C. The usage became quite ubiquitous in frameworks. It's easy to use for debugging, but it's not supported by all user agents. So some unnamed browsers may even crash. So the first thing you might want to do if you have console log in your project is to make it safe. That means that you overload the actual console log with another function which checks if the console log function exists. And if so, it calls the actual console log function. And a second thing you can even if you don't have the console, you can do a history in an object when someone tries to call console log. So, next thing, probably you didn't know you can style the console. You don't have to go with that monochrome font. And I'm sorry that the slides didn't fit. It's a little bit of a 24-hour work here. So the one thing you can do is you can override specific browser components, files which are referring to the console of your browser. Like for Chrome, you can override a certain file. But there's no support for that. It's not official. It breaks easily. Just a while ago, when Chrome 32 came out, half of that didn't work anymore. And the other thing is, in Firefox and in Chrome, you now have the C, the %C pattern, with which you can actually add styles to your console output. So, but what you probably don't want to do with console log is to let it see to all public users of 1 million page per visitors per day site. So you want to probably hide it in the normal case. But still, you can use the history. Like if you have an error occurring, you can even ask the user to send back the console log file if you feel unhappy with submitting it directly to you. And I did even some more fun. Now you can add the trace stacks. So you can always click on the line where an error or a log occurred. Because if you overload console log, some of that built-in browser functionality isn't there anymore if you don't do some overloading. If you don't get the code in that time, I'm sorry, it's limited. Check out the GitHub repo. And so on. You can add an overlay for easy access during development. You could add a direct to server communication on an app error, or let the user save it, or play sounds on error. So to finish here, I'm going to show you that example application. So that's kind of a Google Maps app, and now I'm going to use the console. Now I have caps in there. So that's now my overloaded caps lock thing. If I now use my newly implemented functions, I can do stuff like that. And even more, I have implemented here an overlay, a function to get... Oh, no, sorry. Okay, I'm at the end. There would be a function which actually displays an overlay here. I'm sorry, I can't. I have to toggle it on. Toggle overlay. Now you have a log history there, and you can download the app log as a file. So there's your JSON of the console log. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, so.
Okay, the last one is Adrian. And as far as I've seen the slides already, it looks like some stuff that some people here most probably don't even know.
Yeah, hi, my name is Adrian from Netcetera, from Zurich. I will talk about Bildschirmtext, an almost forgotten ancestor of the World Wide Web. So my goal is to remind us that even 40 years ago, the core functionality of what we do today even existed, and not everything that we do today on the web is so new and so shiny as we may think. So why do I talk about that topic? last year on vacation I was in a rented flat and I found a pile of old PM magazines, science magazine from Germany, and there it was dated 1983 and they were telling now Bildschirmtext is coming and it will be so great and we will have so much fun and information at your fingertips. And I thought, well, okay, 1983, interesting. So you had to buy one of these. They were, of course, very expensive. There were terminals combined with a phone and modem and everything in that. And you had this. So this was a BTX page, 40 characters a line. You didn't have hyperlinks, but you could choose a number, like the 10, and then the first link would open. So it's like the web, you know. A little bit of history. It began 40 years ago, I'm not kidding. And as today own standards for everything, the world hasn't changed. Every country had its own standards. For example, in Germany, it survived for 24 years. It coexisted with the web. It started in almost 1991, so was quite a bit of an overlap. And yeah, why should I use that? I will show you a German ad on YouTube.
Ich muss zur Bank, zur Bank, zur Bank. Feierabend. Nicht zu machen. Mit Bildschirmtext haben Sie Tag- und Nachtzugang zu Ihrem Konto. Der Zug ist abgefahren. Aber mit BTX haben Sie immer den aktuellen Fahrplan. Hallo! Noch nichts vom elektronischen Briefkasten gehört? Mit BTX können Sie Mitteilungen
E-Mail?
auf Knopfdruck absenden und empfangen. BTX hilft Ihnen in vielen Situationen. Über Ihren Fernseher zu Hause oder über Ihren Computer oder über ein Multitel von der Post.
Yeah, as you can see, everything was there. E-banking, schedules, chat, email. Right, so they thought it may be a success, so they had the goal to have 1 million users in 1986, but reality was quite a bit different. So it was not a huge success, and there was one reason for that. It was money. It was so expensive. So on one side, for the users, it was expensive, but also for the producers, I have the number of 20,000 D-Marks to just put one page into BTX, and that's not even the hosting fees, that's just the design, and you have seen you cannot design that much on such a page. So yeah, it was expensive. But we can see that is really an ancient of the World Wide Web. Here you have the page of the HDFC, the Allgemeiner Deutscher Fahrradclub, and that's how it looked in the BTX system, and if you look now, that's how it looks on the web. So there is an evolution, but on the core it's still the same. So yeah, but doesn't that remind us of something? Yeah, probably. You know, it's still alive. That's a screenshot I've took today morning. So you all know teletext on your TV. They're using the same coding standards for the pages. So there is a difference how it's delivered. Here it's delivered by a push on the TV signal, and on the Bildschirmtext you had to pull it from a central server, but essentially the technology still exists today. Thank you.